Hello, it's RuneScape Stats, and today I'm going to share a couple good methods for old school RuneScape free-to-play money making. Now, there are a lot of good member money making guides out there, but free players have a lot of disadvantages. They don't have nearly as many opportunities and have to be a lot more creative to make their money. I found three pretty creative methods I'm going to go ahead and share today. Method number 1, jewelry crafting. Jewelry is a very important part of the member game. Non-members may create some of this jewelry, although they cannot enchant it. Some of the best jewelry to consider making for non-members are sapphire rings, sapphire necklaces, and emerald rings. These are very important because members go through an awful lot of rings of dueling, rings of recoil, and games necklaces. Make sure you buy cut gems and not uncuts, otherwise you will not be making a profit. So go ahead and buy cut sapphires and gold bars and head on down to the Alcaharid furnace, and we're going to be making sapphire necklaces because they have the best profit margin right now. So making 300 necklaces took me about 22 minutes, which puts you on pace to be able to do right around 800 per hour. We started with exactly 1 mil cash, and we're going to go ahead and sell our necklaces and see how much profit we made. Alright, that's about 80,000 coins in 22 minutes. This means we could make about 218,000 GP per hour along with 44.5 thousand crafting experience. Method 2 is extremely simple. It has no level requirements and takes a very small cash stack to get started. You could even do this as a level 3, just getting started with your 10k from doing Stronghold of Security dungeon. So you're going to want to take a steel arrow and a myth arrow and sell them on the GE and see your price. We got 48 for the myth and 41 for the steel on instant sell. Then we're going to go ahead and go to Faldor. We're going to run down to Remington, report this bot really quick with a ridiculous name. So we're going to go ahead and make our way to the Remington archery shop. Now there's also an archery shop in Varrock, but it is a lot more used than Remington. What you're going to want to do here is remember the price at which steel and myth arrows instant sold for, and you're going to want to buy the arrows from the shop until they reach that point. Ideally, the steel arrows start at about 12 GP each, and ideally you'd be able to get a lot of them at that price, but unfortunately when I was doing it, there was one other person hopping around the free worlds here. You could actually make a lot better profit in member worlds doing this because I've yet to see anyone in a member world, but for free players they don't have as many options. This still, I think, is a pretty good option. Also, don't bother buying the adamant arrows as the shop actually sells them for more than they're worth on the Grand Exchange. This method, I think, is really viable for new players with not very much money because I was able to hop to all the non-member worlds and I still spent only 42,000 on this many arrows. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the Grand Exchange and sell them and see what kind of profit I was able to make. So I'm not sure what myth arrows are used for, probably training, but as long as there are purers like me who die with their Abba's accumulators, there will always be a pretty significant demand for steel arrows. Okay, so here I made 14,000 coins in 5 minutes of hopping worlds, which gives me about 178,000 GP per hour if you were to do this for an hour. Method number 3, pizza bases. This one does require 35 cooking, but it is probably the best method if you are an extremely poor noob. You could do this with like a 5k bank. All you need to do is start out by buying jugs of water and pots of flour on the Grand Exchange. Actually, if you're really poor, you could just buy jugs from the general store and fill them yourself. I chose to go this route because I wanted to save a little bit of time. You do need 35 cooking, which if you're a new player just getting started, you could probably just kill cows or chickens and cook that until you get to be level 15. And then go ahead and buy raw trouts and just go ahead and cook those until 35. I believe you can cook trout for profit. So for this method, all you do is use the jug of water on the pot of flour and make the pizza base. I chose pizza bases because they are currently the most profitable thing you can make out of a pot of flour. When you're done, go ahead and sell the pots and the jugs back as well. The jugs actually sell for decent money. I believe they're like 30 GP each. So once everything sells, we're going to go ahead and see what kind of profit we were able to make. And I believe I was able to make 29,000 coins in 13 minutes. That gives me 134,000 GP per hour if you were to do this for that long. If you're a really new player, you could just go ahead and buy these 9 at a time, 9 pots of flour, 9 jugs of water, make 9 pizza bases, sell them on the Grand Exchange, and then buy more and continue doing this until you have a decent cash stack. Alright, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.